Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Fabulous. Take a listen to this. Somebody in Villa Park, Illinois, stole a trailer loaded with $50,000 worth of broccoli. I've got a feeling tomorrow's headline will be, somebody returned a trailer with $50,000 worth of broccoli. You think they stole it for the broccoli, or you think they just stole it because it was a trailer?
I think they just stole it because it was a trailer.
I doubt that they knew there was broccoli inside. Because if they did, they probably wouldn't have stolen the trailer. I don't know. Maybe they would have still stolen it. Hey, a Canadian psychologist is selling videos that teach you how to test your dog's IQ.
Why would you even care?
I'm just saying, how do we get in on this action? Hey, he's got dog IQ covered. We can sell a video to teach you how to test your cat's IQ.
Or your goldfish.
No, we'll do cat, because people love cats. We'll work on that. Maybe get that done by the end of the show and put it on iTunes for $1 or something. I don't know. This guy's probably making millions on this dog IQ thing. Coming up in a bit, we've got special things happening on this St. Patrick's Day. We'll tell you what in a bit. Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Thursday, March the 17th. Of course, the most famous thing today is St. Patrick's Day. It's why we're all wearing green. But it's also Absolutely Incredible Kid Day. That's cool. Mm-hmm. It's also Campfire Girls Day. Were you a campfire girl, Heidi?
No,
nor was I. I wasn't a Girl Scout either, or a Boy Scout. It's also Companies That Care Day, so we celebrate that one here because we're a company that cares. And since it is St. Patrick's Day, it's also National Irish Coffee Day. So is that a little Irish coffee you're drinking there, Heidi?
It's not. It should be.
She has to put up with me.
What is the difference between Campfire Girls and Girl Scouts?
They're two different groups.
But what do they, what's the difference? What do they do differently?
Two completely different things. That's like saying, what's the difference between the Army and the Navy? They're two different groups. So it's similar. Where it's
You're comparing the Campfire Girls and the Girl Scouts to the Army and the Navy?
I'm just saying, they're different things. Coming up here in a bit, we got some fun stuff to share on this St. Patty's Day. Top of the morning to you. Okay, I promise. Last time I'll say it. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. I'll give you a toll-free number to call, 888-547-8007. Start earning 6% now. Call 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Having a hot foot doesn't necessarily have to just be an expression. Have you ever heard of that?
I've never heard hot foot. I've heard lead foot.
I've heard of lead foot, too. Well, the city accountancy firm Deloitte & Touche organized a motivational training day for its workers recently. Part of the motivational training was a fire walk. Have you ever seen those things before?
Oh, yeah.
You're supposed to help
walk on coals and
be more trusted in your company by walking across fire. It helps you trust other people and overcome anxieties. Anyway, you accomplish this by walking over hot coals barefoot. Well, at Deloitte Touche, a woman was walking the walk as she was being cheered by her colleagues. She complained of a little bit of pain to her feet, and they go, "Oh, shake it off." Her cheering coworkers scoffed, "It's all in your head." Well, then the blisters quickly appeared on the soles of her feet. The organizers told her they were, quote-unquote, fire kisses.
Oh, my gosh.
And she'd be able to walk normally the next day. Well, she and her feet eventually had to be taken to the hospital that same day. She was off work for 2 solid weeks. Magistrate's court heard the injured woman, and colleagues were told firewalking would be, quote, no more dangerous than barefoot walking on hot sand. However, it is believed pedicure fluid on her feet from several days earlier is what reacted with the heat, and the flames reacted with her skin. So she had hot feet, big time. They say, according to that, it's no more heat than walking on hot sand.
That's ridiculous. I would never try it.
I wouldn't either. I have no interest. Or walking on broken glass. I've seen people do that, where they'll have, the little thing filled with busted glass and they walk across that. Why do you want to do that?
Who knows?
Does that sound like a good plan to anyone? But I've seen people do that where it's like a motivational thing. And then I watched a guy as he set up his broken glass and he made sure all the points were down and, and I was like, well, now that's kind of cheating. It's still broken glass, but, I was waiting to see your foot get cut off or something. Anyway, this hot foot thing is true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. We're going to head to Germany, where a couple of train buffs are now facing some jail time after they built their own locomotive. And they took it out for a spin on a public rail line.
Oh.
The 6-seated train was made out of garden furniture and salvaged train parts, powered by an electric motor, and even had its own refreshments in the shape of a crate of beer along with. Residents spotted this unorthodox-looking vehicle and called the police. They had to come in on a helicopter to find the darn thing. The regular train lines had to suspend all of their service to avoid running into these morons.
Yeah.
The train buffs at least chose to have their drive where there were no trains scheduled, thank goodness. The men, who were arrested, by the way, for unauthorized use of the rail lines, are now facing public safety charges.
Well, that's just dangerous.
Well, there went my plans for tomorrow. I was going to build my own train.
I'm not saying it wasn't a good idea. I'm just saying it was dangerous.
I'll say it wasn't a good idea. I'll make sure to say that. All right, coming your way, we've got your moment of duh, your scoop of the day, and a lot of fun stuff on St. Paddy's Day. Got your moment of duh right here. Just because you're underage doesn't mean you can smart off to authorities without some kind of consequences. This is not the smartest witness ever. An unnamed 16-year-old witness, the reason he's unnamed, as a minor, they don't put that kind of stuff in the story, but a 16-year-old male witness at a preliminary hearing for an attempted murder case in Kansas described details of the incident in question to police, but once in court, he developed amnesia. Started answering the prosecutor's questions before they even finished with things like, nope! Being really rude and being mean, saying that he knew, suggesting that he knew nothing about what happened that day, even though he already told the police that he did. The judge told him to let the prosecution finish their questions before you answer. He kept on doing it, and the judge said, you're really close to being in contempt, to which the witness responded to the judge, well, you are all getting really close to ticking me off.
Whoa.
He was sentenced to 30 days in juvenile hall. You're getting pretty close to, and I have ticking highlighted. It might have been something else, but that's what they put in the story.
Wow.
Ticking me off. So, anyway, don't do that. It's a bad idea. That's the kind of thing that happens when you're having your moment of duh.
The scoop of the day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now your scoop of the day. Scientists have mapped the loudest and quietest places in America. Where do you think is the loudest place in America? Top 3.
I have no idea.
New York is number 1.
Okay.
Los Angeles is number 2. And Dallas is number 3.
Okay.
The quietest places in America? The John and Heidi Show fan club. Not a peep out of that place. No, it doesn't say who the quiet place is. A new study concludes that dolphins and humans perceive the world in fundamentally similar ways. So we think like dolphins think, apparently, Heidi. Do you feel like you think like a dolphin thinks?
Not usually, no.
Do you like tuna?
Yeah.
And then we think like dolphins think. We like tuna, too. If a Mercedes or Range Rover SUV are a bit too low rent for your lifestyle, Rolls-Royce has the family hauler for you. The Rolls-Royce Cullinan, named after the famed 30,000-carat diamond. I've never heard of that either. It's coming in 2018. The SUV will have a sticker price of $340,000. Yes.
I was going to say I want one of those, but...
Do you still want one of those?
I would love to have one of those.
Who knows? Maybe we'll get some sort of endorsement deal and it'll be sponsored by the John and Heidi Show. Probably not, though.
Probably not.
Don't wait up for that one. Britain's Economic and Social Research Council surveyed women in both the UK and Portugal to find out what makes women happy. They discovered women today are happy having freedom to have careers, and they would not want to be forced to be stay-at-home moms, although they do want families, their male partners, do more housework than they used to, but they'd like them to do more. So the formula for happiness for a woman, according to the study, is that she wants a good job, a family, and a husband who does some housework. The study cost British taxpayers $281,000. Did we need a study for that?
I don't believe
Was that
so.
kind of self-explanatory?
Usually they don't need studies for the things
I
they
don't
do studies
understand
for.
how they get the budget for these studies. We really need to get in on some of these. Smartphones used for solving business problems at night can result in a hangover. Research from Michigan State University shows using a smartphone to cram in more work at night results in less work the next day. The reason is simple. They keep us mentally engaged late into the evening. They make it hard to detach from work so we can actually relax and fall asleep. So it's the same type of result as having a hangover, but it's really from using your smartphone late at night and not getting enough sleep.
There you go.
Do you agree with that?
Sure, yeah, I absolutely agree.
I'll tell you the thing that stinks for me. I need glasses to read on my computer, and I only need them when I'm on the computer or if I'm like reading a book, but I don't typically use them when I'm on my phone, which has even smaller print than my computer. I get such a headache from using my smartphone. So I'm like, maybe I'm going to quit using that. You think I could get a prescription screen on my phone?
Probably not.
That's what I need. I need to get one of those. Internet increasingly won't be shaped by American standards, Heidi. A recent report found that the percentage of Internet users compared to the rest of the world continues to decline. In 1996, 66% of the Internet audience lived in America. That was in 1966. In 2012, only 13% of the Internet users were in America. Meanwhile, in China, they have more Internet users.
Well, yeah, see, that's just it, though. China has so many more people.
And China has more Internet users than the U.S., Germany, U.K., France, Italy, Spain, Canada, and Australia combined.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me a bit.
So, there you go. Hey, it's time for Strange Law. From Wichita, Kansas, a man's mistreatment of his mother-in-law may not be used as grounds for divorce. So I could treat your mom like dirt, and you could still, you know what, you can't divorce me over that. So that's in Wichita, Kansas. A man's mistreatment of his mother-in-law may not be used as grounds for divorce. So, there you go. That is a strange law, and this has been your Scoop of the Day.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. Start earning 6%. Go to commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com right now. What are you waiting for? Go to commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Again, that's commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on St. Patrick's Day. Today is known as the Day for Green. You're probably wearing something green right now. You might be drinking something green a little bit later tonight. You may be eating food that is green. Again, today is really kind of the day for things to be green. But if you woke up today and you notice that your teeth are green, that's not good. That's not good at all. You want them to be white and you want them to be bright, but you might not want them to be too white. Can you make your teeth too white? Well, that's what we're going to talk to Dr. Barry Bartusiak about, and he's been talking about ditching the strips. He's lecturing on dentistry throughout the country, and he's a dentist with a lot of great information for us on how to have your teeth white, but not too white. And we've got him on the line right now, Dr. Barry Bartusiak. Thanks for joining us today, sir. How are you?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me today, John.
It's great to have you on the program today. Now, we're going to talk about whitening your teeth, because that's a good thing, but can you make your teeth too white? Is that even possible?
Yes, it is. That's the person that you bump into on the street, and they look like they're auditioning for the movie Frozen. So you need to be a little bit careful of that person, or they're handing out sunglasses, or essentially, basically, their teeth become a little, chalky in appearance almost, and they can do damage because of the bleach as well as the abrasives in the whitening agents. So that's the problem, and fortunately, there's something out there that can negate that.
So, Dr. Bartusiak, are there any negative health implications from this? Can you actually hurt yourself by making your teeth too white?
Great question, John, and you know what? You're absolutely spot on, because what can happen is the enamel can actually get weakened. So enamel essentially is microscopically like a honeycomb, and so stain gets in there from various foods and drinks, and then what the whitening agents do is tend to kind of pull that out, or abrasive that out, so to speak, and get the teeth whiter in appearance.
So you want your teeth to look nice, so it's not bad to whiten them a little bit, but you don't want to overdo it, because if you do too much, that can actually be bad for you then.
Yes, exactly. Much like anything else, if you do something too much, it can be not so great, maybe Donald Trump with the orange spray tan kind of a deal, is a good example. So all things in moderation, if you will, John. But, again, there's something really cool out there. It's called Black Toothpaste. It's black as white toothpaste, and it's all natural, John, okay? No preservatives, no bleach, no abrasives. And it's black toothpaste. John, you put that on, I'm going to tell you, you look in the mirror and you go, oh, my gosh, my teeth are black. It rinses right off. Don't be concerned. But it uses activated charcoal.
No kidding.
Yeah, so, what's old is new again. And activated charcoal, a nice natural ingredient that goes into those honeycomb and kind of leaches the bad boys out that causes the stains. And, again, it's an all-natural product.
So it's called Black is White?
Black is White Toothpaste. It's just got in the market from Switzerland from a company called Curaprox. It's been in the States maybe about 6 weeks now.
No kidding.
Yeah, John, it's really cool. And you know what, speaking of cool, past the coolness factor, I knew that when I took this home, I was onto something, because when I took this home, my 2 teenage daughters were thrilled. And they were doing the selfie things and sending out the pictures on social media.
So it makes your teeth white, but it makes them white safely.
Exactly. Safely, in a predictable manner, and this is something that you can use for a long period of time versus too much bleaching, too much abrasives that can cause harm to your tooth. This is a natural product that can get the job done powerfully as well as effectively, but not doing any harm.
Our guest today, Dr. Barry Bartusiak, a lecturer, fellow of the Academy of General Dentistry, 5-time president of his local dental society. And here's something that I think is really cool. In addition to all of those other cool things, this is really neat. You're also the former dentist to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, that's got to be kind of an exciting thing to be a dentist for a football team.
Yes, it's very exciting. We're always trying to get them back on the field and active, and they can suffer some harmful and rather significant injuries. So we're trying to get them to win another Super Bowl, John.
There you go. Well, and I'll tell you that when you think about those guys out there, they could easily get an elbow to the face or a knee to the face. So have you ever had it where somebody lost a tooth or any of that kind of stuff?
Sadly, yes. If you've been there long enough, you've kind of seen it all, so to speak, yes.
Yikes. Again, Dr. Barry Bartusiak, and we're talking today about making your teeth too white. So let's get back to that. You were telling me about this new product called Black is White. Where do I find that? Is that in stores already, or how do I get a hold of some of that?
You know what? It's so hot. We can't keep it on the shelves over here, but it's not in the stores yet. It's coming. But what you do is you go to curaprox.com, and so that website is curaprox.com. And it's a Switzerland company, and they can purchase it there. And let me tell you what, I think it's fun as well as, getting your teeth nice and clean and white. It's a wonderful, safe product, something that my kids use. I have 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls, and it passes that coolness test, too. My son's a freshman at Carnegie Mellon, and every time I'm going over there, hey, Doc, can I have some more of that Black is White toothpaste? Sure. So, you're on to something good if college freshmen are kind of liking it as well.
There you go. Now, are there other people that use charcoal in their toothpaste? I've never heard of that before. Is this a new thing, or has this been around a while?
Well, actually, it's new for dentistry, but if you think about it, and the women in our audience will know this, it's used for facial products and makeup, etc.
So they have charcoal in makeup products, and they've been doing that for a while?
Yes, exactly, for facial cleaners, etc. Yes, because it's, again, non-abrasive, very friendly, no preservatives, because nobody in America woke up this morning, John, and said, hey, you know what? I want more preservatives in my life. Let's do this. So it provides a wonderful vehicle to get the job done in a safe, effective manner.
Well, and I got the website here in front of me, curaprox.com. I'll click on there, and I'll also share a link to that so folks can find it pretty darn easily. But again, the product is called Black is White, and it's a natural toothpaste. Are there a lot of other natural ways that you can take care of your dental health?
Well, in a safe, effective manner for whitening, that's probably one of the best that I've come across. And, I try and scour the globe as much as I can to make sure. In fact, I was just in Chicago for one of the largest dental meetings in the world, and so many dentists were coming over and sampling it and purchasing the product. It was kind of neat and, to lecture about it, tell my fellow dentists about it. So it's probably the top one right now, I would say, yes.
Very cool. Well, I appreciate taking some time to chat with us here today, and I know it's St. Patty's Day. You probably have other things to do, but I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about white teeth when everybody else is talking about green everything.
Absolutely, and especially after you maybe have a green beverage today. Good to get that black as white toothpaste going.
So if you smile and notice you have green teeth, this would be a good way to make them white again?
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it.
Again, our guest today, Dr. Barry Bartusiak. Thank you so much, Dr. Barry. I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us.
My pleasure today, John. You be well and enjoy your St. Patty's Day.
You do the same. And again, the website, I'll give that to you here. If you'd like to know more about this natural toothpaste, it's called Black is White, but the website is curaprox.com, curaprox.com. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
According to suppliers, purple is by far the favorite ink color for dabbers use to play bingo.
Really?
What is your favorite bingo dabber color?
I haven't played bingo for so
But
long.
when you
that
play, just whatever color you have?
I don't know.
My
It just
favorite is
depends.
yellow. That way I can still see through it to see what that number was.
Ah.
So that's my favorite. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The greater dwarf lemur in Madagascar always gives birth to triplets. How crazy is that? Always triplets. Fun
weird.
fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The penny in the United States is the only U.S. coin where the person faces right instead of left. Honest Abe is kind of a rebel. He's looking the wrong way. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The number of left-handed men is double that of left-handed women for some reason. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
About 75% of the maple syrup in the world comes from Canada. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
Only 25%?
75%.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
70,
I thought you said 25.
No, maybe I did. It's 75%.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The life expectancy of a $100 bill is 9 years, which is about 9 years longer than I would have it. So for me, it doesn't last that long. There's some fun facts for you. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on St. Patrick's Day.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by RadioReallyWorks.com. I know you're listening to a podcast, but did you know the John and Heidi Show is also a radio show? And for those of you who have businesses, you should consider using radio to advertise your business. We can even help you create some catchy little jingles or amazing radio ads that will help pull people in. Get all the details or just learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show at St. Patrick's Day, and I've tried to not overdo it with St. Patrick's stuff because I know some places that's all you're going to be hearing today. So I was like, you know what? We're not going to do that. But I do have some good health news about burgers and fried chicken and potato chips and cake. Are you excited about this story?
I'm so excited.
I am too. Junk food like burgers, fried chicken, potato chips, and cake are supposed to be bad for you because they're loaded with fat and sugar. Well, a myth-busting study concludes they can actually beat killer stress. Researchers fed two groups of lab rats either junk food or a healthy diet. They were shocked by the results. They say what we found was that the animals that had the junk food diet were much less anxious than those who ate healthy food. End of quote. Professor Margaret Morris is the one that said that. In fact, the animals given the low-fat diet had twice the stress level as the junk food eaters, and the rats, which wolfed down foods high in sugar and fat, even showed lower levels of depression than the healthy eaters. So they're saying if you are a lab rat, eat as much junk food as you want to eat.
Probably because they had the cages right next to each other, and the rats getting the healthy food could see the party going
There
on
was a
in the
study.
cage.
Oh, did you see the study? I think it was monkeys. It was on.
Oh, yeah.
It was on
The-
Brain Games, I think.
Yeah.
They gave a monkey a grape. Was it a grape? No, it's
Yeah.
something else. I think the grape was the thing they liked. Anyway, they gave
Cucumbers and
Yes,
grapes.
it was. So they gave a monkey a cucumber and he ate it and he was happy. And then they gave the monkey in the cage next to him a grape and he was really happy. And then they gave the other monkey, he was expecting a grape and he got a cucumber and he's looking at it and he sees the other one gets a a grape, and he finally threw the cucumber at the guy
Yeah.
because they kept giving him healthy food, and the other guy got the sweet stuff.
Yeah.
That was a really cool study. So you know what? You could be right. Maybe they're saying, hey, what's the deal with these guys getting all the good stuff?
We're having a party. And
Yeah, you guys are having junk food. We're stuck over here eating leafy greens. It's no fun. Speaking of green, happy St. Patrick's Day from the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
You ever get mad, Heidi?
Oh, yes.
You ever get mad at your mama? I mean, so mad at your mama that you want to rob a bank?
Well, no.
That doesn't make a lot of sense,
no,
does it?
it doesn't.
Well, Stephen Z. was so mad at his mother that he decided to rob a bank. He was going to use the money to start a new life, but apparently had second thoughts after the robbery. 3 hours after the crime had been committed, he called 911, turned himself in.
Oh, well.
Why was he so mad at his mother?
Why?
He had an argument with her on the way to his anger management class. This boy's just angry.
Yeah,
it
he's,
sounds like.
he's
You know,
got
I got to
issues.
say,
But
Stephen,
at least he did the right thing.
Yes, Stephen, even though you're a nincompoop and you've done some knucklehead stuff there, I'm really proud of you because you did the right thing in the end. And I think at the end of the day, that's what really matters. You know, we all make mistakes. We all do. Some are really big mistakes, like robbing a bank like this guy. That's a big mistake. But we all make mistakes in life. It's really how you respond to those mistakes that really count. So I'm really proud of the guy. Coming up, we've got some other stuff here. We're going to talk about a new weapon that we might have. Banana peels. Yeah, it's on the way.
John and Heidi.
When I was a kid, I would watch cartoons, and for some reason, they always had, like, banana peels, and people would slip on them
Yeah,
and fall.
slip and fall. I've never seen that happen.
I've never seen it happen either, but the United States Marine Corps has a massive fighting force armed with tanks and bombs and missiles and machine guns and mortars and grenades, high-tech weapons like lasers, got it all. But up until recently, they'd been missing out on one particular weapon, and that is the banana peel in a can. It sounds like a joke, but it is a real thing. San Antonio Southwest Research Institute has developed a spray-on gel that is so slippery the Marine Corps believes it will be useful in keeping mobs from attacking embassies or military bases.
Oh, that's
Tests
fantastic.
had people walking across this banana peel in a can stuff with no success whatsoever of getting across. So they're saying, hey, you want to keep the people away?
Yeah.
Just throw a bunch of banana peels on the ground. Well, if
it's
you
not
don't
banana
have
peels,
those,
but that's fantastic.
spray this goopy stuff there.
Huh.
So there you go. That's
Very
kind of
cool.
cool. And they're calling it lovingly banana peel in a can. So
Love that.
I just think that's kind of funny. They bought it from Acme. Wiley Coyote's he recommended them. Coming up in a bit, we've got some other fun stuff about bedtime on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, listen to this. Commercial mortgage bridge loans pay 6% to 8%. That might be just what you need. You're placed in first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels, apartments, and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges, and you can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. I'll give you a toll-free number to call, 888-547-8007. Start earning 6% now. Call 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on St. Patrick's Day. What you're doing at bedtime could actually ruin a good night's sleep. If you're having trouble falling asleep, you're in good company. About 65% of Americans say they encounter sleep problems, at least a couple times a week. Sleeping is too little linked with an increased risk of obesity and depression. They're saying that's an important thing from the National Sleep Foundation. We need to make sure we see that link. So here are a couple things that could be happening. If you're setting a bright alarm clock, the looming glare of your alarm clock could be distracting you when you're trying to sleep. Do we have a bright alarm clock?
Yes, and on my side of the bed, too.
We should get rid of that thing. It's usually not right anyway. It's gone.
That's correct.
been
It's off again now.
for a week, and about the time I'll get around to setting it, it'll be time to change it back
Yeah.
again. So we both have phones. Why do we need that?
We really don't
We don't
anymore.
need that.
I had it for a while there for the CD player, but that CD is all scratched and can't
She
use
got
it. So
a sleep CD.
I did.
And I never heard more than the first 3 lines. They'd be like, "You're
It was
getting
such
sleepy.
a great CD.
Take a deep breath." I'm like, I was out. If you're counting sheep when you can't fall asleep, that actually could hurt more than help. The National Sleep Foundation says do something mundane like balance your checkbook or watch TV or something that actually would bore you.
Reading always helps if you're, because it makes your eyes heavy.
There you go.
So just read.
Another thing that could actually be hurting your good night's sleep, if you exercise late at night, that could be hurting you. Daytime workouts will keep you invigorated for hours. That's why you really don't want to exercise within 3 hours of going to bed. Intense physical activity of any kind raises your body temperature and pumps your energy level. Both interrupt a calm transition into sleep. So anything that's a good physical activity you don't want to do for 3 hours before you fall asleep. Why does that make you smile? Oh, sorry. Got some advice on the radio. Yeah, really, I wish I could, John. All right, coming up, we got some good news for you. That is on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on St. Patrick's Day. A New York woman was shocked to find out that her long-lost sister was no stranger whatsoever. This is such a cool story. I always try to end with a positive story. I think this is absolutely fascinating. According to ABC News, Diane DeProspero was put up for adoption as a child. She'd been searching for information about her biological family. DeProspero told ABC News that she recently got a letter from the New York State Adoption Registry, and she found out that her favorite teacher in college 30 years ago was more than just a teacher. It was her older sister.
Oh, crazy.
The sisters say they are currently busy making up for lost time. How cool is that?
That's very cool.
I remember watching, back when it was on, like, current, I think they're in reruns now, but Unsolved Mysteries. Remember that show?
Yes, I loved that show.
There was an episode of that show where there were some twins that were separated at birth. And the thing that was amazing about this episode, these two guys, who of course were twins, they looked a lot alike, but they both, even though they grew up in completely different parts of town, they were both in the same area. They grew up in the same area to different families, but they both became plumbers as far as like their occupation. They drove the same kind of truck. They were both in bowling leagues at the same bowling alley.
That's crazy.
On different nights of the week. They had all of these things in common, and finally, somebody was like, you look so much like this guy. When they got together, they found out their birthday was the same. They found out all these things were the same, and they realized that, hey, maybe we're related. And it turns out they were twins.
That's pretty cool.
Because they both knew they were adopted, but it just kind of turned out to be a really neat thing. So fun stuff. And this other one here, this was a New York woman, and she found out that her college teacher, her favorite teacher in college, was actually her older sister. So really neat. Fun story. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening. I'll throw a link to that story on our Facebook page if you do want to check it out. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the good folks at Knowles Systems. And if you haven't heard of them, well, you need to listen up because I got to tell you all about this. If you have funds earning less than 6%, maybe you should check into a better system like Knowles Systems. They have commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. If you've never heard of a commercial mortgage bridge loan, I'm going to tell you what this is. It's a loan paying 6% to 8%, and it could be just what you need. You're placed in the first position on loans secured by high-quality commercial real estate like hotels and apartments and office buildings. Your principal never fluctuates in value. You receive 6% per year paid monthly, and your principal is returned in full at the end of each cycle. You never pay commissions, management fees, or asset charges. You can make these loans inside or outside of an IRA. If you'd like more info on how you can start earning 6% or more right now, call 888-547-8007. I'll give you that number again in a second, but first, you might want to just check out the website if that's easier. commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com. Again, commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com or 888-547-8007.
John and Heidi.
ever wondered why cats don't like to get wet? You ever notice that? Have you noticed?
I know they don't like to get wet, but I never really wondered why. You've got a much more inquisitive mind.
Well,
than I do,
I've been going to this website that has all kinds of interesting stuff. So, funny thing is, big cats love to go swimming, like tigers and whatnot.
And lions.
So why is it that little cats don't like to go for a dip? Well, it's simply because it's inconvenient. You ever notice how obsessive cats are about cleaning themselves in general?
Okay.
Anything that gets on them, they want to clean it off. If they go for a swim, they'd have to lick all that water off their fur. So with their busy schedules, they just can't be bothered.
Yeah.
That's what it is, I'm sure. So, but they don't like getting dirty, so they don't want to get wet. The last American registered as living in the capital of Syria has no intention of leaving the war-ravaged country. If you lived in a war zone, wouldn't you want to get out
I
of
would
there?
be gone instantly.
Well, NBC News says that Thomas Weber was born and raised in Orchard Park. That's just outside of Buffalo, New York. And since 1971, he's been living in Damascus, and he's teaching English there. He's 71 years young now, and he still works at a local high school. He's making a difference, and he doesn't want to leave. Most foreigners have fled the country during the chaotic early months of the 5-year-old conflict. While fighting has raged elsewhere, security in the capital has improved. Weber said that he takes precautions like checking under his car and keeping a lookout while driving, but he said, I am determined to stay in Syria for the rest of my life.
I just don't get that. Why would he have even wanted to go there to begin with?
Because he's helping. He's a teacher, and he's going, hey, these are people who need some help. I'm not leaving them. I'm not ditching them. I'm here. I'm here for the long haul.
Okay.
I'm proud of him. That's pretty darn cool. I don't know that I could necessarily do the same thing.
I
You're like,
wouldn't.
I want to be a teacher, but I'll be a teacher back home somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. You can help. There are a lot of people here that need help, too.
K-cups. We've never really had K-cups.
No, mine are double Ds.
We had... No, that's not what I'm talking about, folks. I wonder if there are K-cup bras. What flavors they come in. We had one called a Tassimo for a while, which is a similar thing. Well, the maker of those K-cups, the small containers used to brew single cups of coffee, says he feels bad that he ever invented them. The small containers have wreaked havoc on the environment. According to some estimates, they said so many were trashed in 2014 alone that if you put a circle of those all together, they would line the Earth 12 or circle the Earth 12 times.
Yikes.
K-cup inventor John Sylvan explained, no matter what they say about recycling those things, they will never be recyclable. Because of the plastic and the materials used to help withstand the brewing, the individual cups are extremely difficult to break down and recycle.
Yeah, I bet they are.
Sylvan told magazine, which magazine? Doesn't even say in the story. I suppose the one that I got this from. I don't have one. He says they're kind of expensive to use. Plus, it's not like drip coffee is tough to make. So the maker of K-cups says, I don't have one. They're too expensive. And they're bad for the environment. So that's probably not the kind of endorsement K-cup really needs right now.
No. We don't have one either. So,
you know, it's not that I'm against them. We actually do have one somewhere, don't we? Don't we have a Keurig now? Didn't somebody give us one of those?
I think somebody gave us one, but we don't use it. I think it's somewhere in our garage.
Yeah,
maybe.
we have one somewhere. Because somebody else said, I can't afford to use this thing, and they gave it to us.
No, they bought a new one.
Oh, is that what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, anyway, they gave it to us, and we had the Tassimo. Those were hard to find coffee for.
Yeah.
But somebody, do you remember that? We had, what was
a
it?
crate
50
full
of those?
them. Yeah.
This is a few years ago. A guy reached out to me and said, hey, you want to give away some coffee pots?
That was a great promotion. I loved it.
It was. He's like, you want to give these away? And I said, yeah, that's cool. I'm going to send some over to you. And when they showed up, there was a truck driver. He's like, where do you want these things? I was like, do you want to just bring them in here? He's like, they're on a pallet. So I went down to the truck, and there was a pallet load. I mean, a giant pallet load of coffee makers to give away. I was like,
that was cool. I wonder if he still does those things. We should do more of those.
After that, I got rid of his contact info. I'm like, I don't have a storage facility here. It was nuts. Anyway, we're almost done with our bonus break. 2 Italian criminal masterminds had a brilliant plan to rip off an insurance company. First, they met in public places to discuss exactly how they would pull off the operation. First, by crashing their cars into each other. Then, by faking injuries. Sounded like such a foolproof plan, right? They just went ahead and did it. They smashed their cars into each other. This all would have been perfectly fine except for one small matter. These criminal masterminds failed to notice that a film crew nearby was filming while they were discussing their plan. The Italian film crew was there on a completely different assignment, but they happened to catch the entire thing on tape, including the discussion of how they planned to defraud the insurance company.
Wow.
After returning to the studio and discovering what they had, the TV crew turned the tape over to the police, and the men were both arrested. So that's not very bright.
No, not at all.
It's a bad idea to break the law, but you definitely don't want to do it if you're, chatting about it while you're being filmed. Bad idea. Coming up here in a bit, we've got silence because we're done now. Now we're going to wrap things up. Our bonus break is brought to you by Knowles Systems. If you have funds earning less than 6%, you should check out a commercial mortgage bridge loan. They earn 6 to 8%. Could be just what you need. Get all the details at commercialmortgagebridgeloans.com.